Abuse prevention. Every year since 1989, on the day of June 26th, the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is observed around the world. The day is devoted to eliminate drug misuse and addressing the structural causes that fuel the illegal drug trade. Share drug facts to save lives is a theme of the 2021 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, aimed to combat misinformation and encourage the exchange of drug facts. To spearhead the substance abuse prevention activities of the campus, Yenepoya University has established a Center for Substance Abuse Prevention with satellite units in all constituent colleges. Student bodies established in each college with student representatives from each batch, guided by a faculty batch coordinator. Today's program is organized by the Satellite Unit of Center for Substance Abuse Prevention and student body of Yenepoya Dental College. I call upon Mohammed Sinan, student body member, YDC, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. It is my proud privilege to welcome all of you present here to this auspicious occasion. With warm greetings, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome all the principals and vice principals of constituent colleges to this event. Welcome all. It is a great pleasure to welcome the speakers of the day, Dr. Ravi Chandra Karkal and Mrs. Clara Dicuna, into this auspicious event. A very warm welcome to all college and batch coordinators of the satellite unit and all other members of Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, CFSAP. I would also like to welcome all the faculties and students of all constituent colleges into this gathering. Last but not the least, I would like to welcome all the participants into this webinar. Welcome to one and all, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Sinan. I now request our beloved and ever-enthusiastic principal, Dr. Akhtar Hussain, to give the introductory remarks.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, good afternoon. Dr. Ravi Chandra, Ms. Clara, Dr. Maji, Dr. Shruti, Dr. Soumya, students, particularly ones who are involved in this webinar, faculty members, students of our constituent colleges, a very good afternoon to you all. The drug addiction in youth today is a worldwide problem, more common than one can imagine, and it's increasing. Our youth, the future of our society, fall into the trap, and we just can't be watching them fall into this dark pit, and this cannot be accepted at all. Once trapped, many times because of the peer pressure, and then the curiosity of experimentation, and include, if we support again with the lack of family involvement, there's more chance of the students slipping into these kind of problems. These, I think, are the three main causes. And then once, this can have very severe consequences, which starts as a fun time for a light, in a lighter, in a fun program, may lead to some very dangerous consequences. Because once these drugs take over the mind, their personality gradually begins to deteriorate, form in a very strange way. It can have a negative impact on the cognitive functions, as these drugs are very powerful neuromodulators, which modify the function of the brain circuits. Anything from seizure to strokes to mental confusion and brain damage can happen. And they have very long-lasting damage. And even after drugs themselves are cleared, they can still have an effect on the body. Besides, of course, the academic performance. Now, what can be done about it? I can give an example also of one of my students from the first batch. I would like to refrain from using his name. He came to my clinic with his teenage daughter, for orthodontic treatment. And then he was opening up to me, and he talked about the problems, what severe situations, families, how it's ruined. And he could not even afford, the treatment cost also. I said, that's okay. He was my old student. Then he told me he was in a mood to explain to me what happened, how he destroyed himself. It was so shocking and so scary situation. He told me how it all started. Till his finally BDS, he was a good student. He said the first day of his uh, internship, he went to Manipal, and that is how it started. And then he told me, explained to me exactly what happens, and I was very shocking things. He says, you don't know what can happen to you, what kind of illusions you can get. And then he got so trapped into it, he lost his practice. I mean, he started a good practice, which again was gone, and completely their family separated. And I was so sad. I told him, at least because he was very sorry about what happened to him, but he was not able to come out of it. Then I asked him, would you like to come to our college and address the students? Would you have the courage to do it? He said, yes, sir, I would love to do that. My life is ruined. If I can be of help, I would definitely love and come do that. So I took his number and kept it with me. So today I thought was a good time to call him to address our students. He'll tell from his own words how it happened. He even told me that he had asked me for money and I had given him some money also because I didn't know it was for these reasons. I have some difficulties, and he said that I have also financially assisted him. I was shocked to know that assistance they gave was for these drugs. And then now, when I tried to contact him a couple of weeks back to come for this program, a week back, I got a message. He says, "Who is this? Who is this trying to contact me towards the end of my life?" I was so shocked to hear he's in such depression and such terrible thing. So I don't want this to happen to any of my students. Curiosity killed the cat. I know, but curiosity, you have to be very careful where you're going to be curious. I always say the best thing is first time say no to it. My dear students, please understand this. Drug is something which shows you heaven and it takes you straight to hell. So for sure, I'm 100% sure about it. So please don't get into it. What we do now, what can be done about it? One is that as teachers, as staff, as academicians who are taking care of them here, where the parents trust that they are in good hands in our university, we can to some extent keep a watch. What I suggest is we keep observation of the students. We are the mentors who keep observing the students. You identify if there's any problem happening anywhere. And then we need to have open communication. And that's the best way you can do it. So, and then keep them involved. Involved in interesting alternative activities in the campus, so that they don't get into these kind of things. So that's the reason why we started a program called Enthusia, where a lot of extracurricular activities have been brought into these students. And in fact, we have kept a separate 2 hours in every week for these kind of programs, and so that they can choose the interesting areas. Everything from painting to sculpture to dancing to physical exercises to everything was included in that. Because of COVID, I mean, you could not even put it into practice, but I'm sure we're going to continue that. These kind of things I feel really affects because they are sometimes bored. So keep them busy and teach them newer things, which will add more life to their life. So this is what I would like to say. Now, most important is even if they got into it, we should not subject them to feel ashamed or helpless. No, instead you should because delaying will worsens with time. So identify them once they're confirmed. Better take prompt steps to prevent them from going further into it. So I always say it's best to work towards beating your addiction rather than getting beaten by it. So uh, in extreme examples, we are even planning now to even keep stiffer dogs, which is on the way, so that I don't leave any stone unturned. I've seen cases deteriorate. I've seen lives get spoiled for simple, innocent, nice students of ours. So very soon we are trained. We already have a trained stiffer dog to police around the campus. Even there, we are trying to do our best. And I acknowledge and congratulate the efforts of all involved in this major challenge, particularly from the Center of Substance Abuse Prevention Cell of Yenepoya Deemed University, as well as the Satellite Unit Center of our Yenepoya Dental College. The student council members, my dear staff and students, world is full of challenges. It's all about overcoming these challenges. So let's not give hopes, and let's not. I agree that we don't have such a major problem among our students here, but we are seeing here and there some cases. So let's all join together and let's hope things will not go out of our hands. So with these few words, I wish you all stay blessed and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Arunima to introduce our first speaker of the day, Dr. Ravichandran Karkal, Associate Professor in the Department of Psychiatry, YMC.
A very good afternoon to one and all. I, Arunima Sham, Second Year BDS, CFP student at Yenepoya Dental College. As today marks International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, CFSAP Yenepoya deemed to be university and satellite unit of CFSAP Yenepoya Dental College is extremely delighted to have the right resource person of the day, Dr. Ravichandran Karkal, Associate Professor, Department of Psychiatry, Yenepoya Medical College, to enlighten us on the topic, Get High Without Substances. Dr. Ravichandran Karkal is an Associate Professor of Psychiatry at Yenepoya Medical College. He is trained at reputed institutes like MBBS from Mysore Medical College and Research Institute and MD in Psychiatry from Central Institute of Psychiatry, Ranchi. His areas of interest are child and adolescent mental health, depression and anxiety disorders, effects of psychological trauma, and psychotherapy. He is a member of Medical Education Unit, Yenepoya Medical College and Yenepoya Center for Faculty Development. Sir is also one of the batch coordinator of CFSAP. He has done many training programs as well. He has keen interest in research and has national and international publications to his name. He is a mental health advocate and has reached to thousands of students, parents, and teachers through his awareness program. Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, Yenepoya Dental College is extremely privileged to have you here with us as a resource person, sir. On behalf of CFSCP Yenepoya Dental College, welcome you, sir, for the interactive session.
Thank you. Thank you, Arunima.
You're welcome, sir.
I can go ahead with the presentation, I think, Justina?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can anyone confirm my slides are visible, right?
Yes, it's getting, yeah, ready.
Loaded. Yeah, fine now? Everyone can see my slides, I hope. First of all, I'm really thankful to Dr. Maji Jose and Dr. Akhtar Hussain, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be part of the celebration of International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. When I was looking at the title, it was suggested by the organizers, Get High Without Substances. It seemed, like a clickbait, I was wondering if there are some people here who saw the title and thought maybe Dr. Ravichandra has this magic formula by which anybody can get high without using any substances. So if someone is sitting here with that kind of an intention, I'm joking. So definitely you will get disappointed, because what I'm going to tell you guys today is that happiness and seeking pleasure, and it's sort of overrated and overhyped. I always say happiness is something like a celebrity of all the emotions. So lot of hype around it. But in reality, my friends, life is not always being happy. It is about navigating various ups and downs in our emotions all throughout our life. Especially during these difficult times, life can be an emotional roller coaster. You can experience emotions such as boredom, stress, sadness, anxiety, anger, fear, and a whole host of other emotions. So running away from these emotions is not always the best possible solution. But sometimes what happens is, as a young person, and that a young person's brain, if you look at the neuroimaging studies of young people, especially adolescents and teenagers, you can understand that their brains are not yet mature, especially the front part of our brain, the frontal brain or the frontal lobe of the brain, and something called as the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is important for us to make wise decisions is not actually mature in an adolescent or a teenager. It takes, you should be 20 years or more than 20 years to really have some sort of maturity in those neural circuits. So when a young person is faced with these kind of emotions, and if they don't have guidance on how to cope with these emotions, they definitely can become prey to substances for getting a high and escape, rather than process these difficult emotions, which I feel are very natural and very understandable feelings in an adolescent's life, and especially for an adolescent who is living his life in this pandemic. So this is a beautiful image I got from Instagram. If you follow this channel, the Awkward Yeti, it beautifully depicts how life is not kind to all of us. Some of us have a lot of baggage of traumatic experiences when we were children. Maybe we had a single parent. Maybe we had a mother who had mental illness, or maybe we had a parent who was suffering from some chronic medical problem. Maybe we had a very chaotic family. There were a lot of conflicts. Maybe we have faced physical abuse. Maybe we have faced sexual abuse. So there are a whole host of problems and traumas that we can carry. And upon that, you add the stress of the pandemic, you add the stress of online learning, and all the difficult things that you see around you. You just have a look around you, and there are only anxiety provoking news, right? All very threatening news, and all that added together can make it really difficult for a young person. And if somebody is going through all these kind of problems, that one small thing can be like a nail in the coffin. And these are the things, these are the problems which pushes most of our teenagers and adolescents to taking up substance use. In addition to that, there are a whole host of brainwash campaigns that have been running right from 1950s. If you are not aware of this, this is an ad which was very popular right from 1950s. This picture shows a cowboy who is smoking a Marlboro cigarette. Okay, and the funny thing is, at least 4 Marlboro men who advertised for this cigarettes have died because of cancer or other problems due to smoking. In fact, one of the Marlboro man, David McLean, his wife sued Philip Morris International, which is the company who sells these cigarettes, that because of doing these ad campaigns, her husband got cancer. So, but you just think of these big tobacco companies. They are an enormous force, and they wield a lot of influence on governments and policymakers. For example, you will be surprised, Philip Morris International, which is $1 trillion tobacco company, it sued 4 countries in the last few years. You will be surprised which are these countries: Australia, Britain, Uruguay, and one other I'm not able to remember. So it has sued 4 countries for bringing in policies to cut down the usage of cigarettes. Policies such as putting up the picture of a person with oral cancer on the tobacco on the cigarette box, or making the cigarette box without any fancy designs, plain cigarette box. For bringing these kind of policies, the big tobacco companies like PMI has the audacity to challenge even big governments. So you imagine these companies are challenging governments. Don't you think they have enough power, and don't you think they have enough ad sense to really influence young brains? Of course, young people who I told are very vulnerable to get influenced by peer pressure, and in the process of becoming cool, or in the process of becoming one among your friends, or trying to fit in your friends, you may get yourself trapped into a lot of problems. And if you take out cigarettes, there are so many other drugs like cocaine or cannabis or opioids or MDMA or other such drugs, which can, if you are even experimenting it for one time, you are dirtying your hands with stuff such as child trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, illicit, all sort of crimes. You are dirtying your hands. Even if you are spending, 1,000 rupees worth or a few hundred rupees on this kind of a drug, on these kinds of drugs, then definitely you are dirtying your hands with lot of crimes. You are joining hands with drug cartels and lot of other illegal activities that happen invariably around the, sale of these drugs, or the illegal sale of these drugs. Now, what happens? Why our youngsters, or why anyone, be an adult also, why do we get hooked to these drugs? That's because drugs sort of hijack our reward pathway. As you can see in the picture, there is something called as a reward pathway in the brain, which stretches from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens and frontal cortex. So this reward pathway, when in a normal state, natural rewards such as food, talking with your friend, talking with your mom, listening to music or having sex, such natural rewards give a certain amount of dopamine. Whereas when you use drugs such as cocaine or opioids like heroin, what happens is there is such a huge release of dopamine in the neuronal synapses in the reward pathway that the whole mechanism or the whole circuitry of that reward pathway gets changed or influenced for good, right? And these changes in the neurocircuitry last for a very long time, even after stopping these drugs. You can see a picture here. This is one of functional neuroimaging using PET scans. It shows that a healthy brain has so much of brain metabolism, whereas the brain of a person who is addicted to cocaine, the brain metabolism is much lower. And these changes in the brain last even 6 months or 1 year after stopping these drugs. What that tells you is these drugs hijack our brain, especially they hijack the reward pathway of our brain. And you cannot take lightly these things, because young brains, once it gets conditioned to use of these kind of substances, then it's really difficult. It not only changes the neurocircuitry of your brain, it has an influence on how you think, it has an influence on how you interact with people, how you deal with your relationships. It can have an impact on your social, occupational, academic life. It can create a havoc in your life. And of course, what kind of psychosocial impact drugs and other alcohol and other drugs or substances can have on one's life. It not only wreaks havoc on families, it can wreak havoc on all aspects of your life. So, dear friends, we have to understand that drugs are an escape from reality, right? When you feel that your life is not, making much sense to you, or if you have a life where there are a lot of difficulties, sometimes escaping from all those problems with drugs can seem like a very easy, quick fix solution, but it will lead to more problems. It will make you end up in a lot of other problems. So that's why I am urging you guys, find your life's purpose. A meaningful life is not something you will run away from. Once you find meaning and purpose in your day-to-day life, you will not want to run away from that. So it all starts with self-love and self-compassion. In this day and age, you can easily get influenced by, looking at social media or people around you, and you start comparing yourself, either your looks or, either some of your abilities and talents, or either, what luxuries you have or what privileges you have. Once you start comparing yourself like that, especially when you start comparing your body and your abilities, then there is a good likelihood that you will demean yourself. You will develop a lower self-esteem. And when you don't have a good self-esteem, when you don't have confidence, you can get influenced by others. You can sort of feel that maybe, if I follow someone, or if I just, enact whatever others tell me, then probably I will fit in, or probably I'll be a better person. So when you don't accept yourself, all problems start. So start with accepting yourself, whoever you are, however you look, whatever body image or size you have, whatever abilities or talents you have. Always believe that self-love and self-compassion is really important. And this is absolutely important in this phase of our life, where we are all in lockdown, we are stuck at our homes, we are not able to fulfill our goals and dreams. And sometimes we may become too self-critical about ourselves. We may demean ourselves, and which will lead to a lower self-confidence and all other problems. And also, a good way to feel high every day is to experience mastery with small steps. I found this beautiful image on the internet. As you can see here, sometimes we do the mistake of setting some goals which are very unrealistic, which you cannot really reach. For example, you look at a YouTuber and, he has millions of likes and views, and you feel that you should become a YouTuber like him. You don't really see how much effort and how many years of constant, content creation that YouTuber has done to reach wherever he is right now. Okay. So sometimes we have very unrealistic goals, and when we cannot reach them, we sort of beat ourselves up. We, indirectly feel very, very, less in terms of confidence and self-esteem. Whereas if you can keep small goals, if you can take baby steps, you can definitely move ahead in your life every day, even despite of difficult situations which may be thrown as a challenge to you in this pandemic. So always think, every day when you get up, ask yourself, do I have a small goal today, right? Sometimes, especially when you're locked down, when you are in a lockdown and you don't have a good routine, you don't have a schedule, you don't have a college to support you or your friends to support you, your routine may go half-assed. You're not really thinking about how to spend your day. So every day, plan something small, start small, and once you are able to master something, even if you are able to, do a small thing, if it is related to academics or family life or whatever, it will help you to feel good. It will help you to get that natural high. And once you accumulate enough of these, you will feel confident, you will reach your dreams, you will reach your goals. Also, look at the gifts of life, right? Look at nature. Once you start connecting with nature, even in a small way, even if it is few plants in your balcony, look at the greenery, look at the flowers, look at the design by nature. Feel the experience of awe and, get inspiration from God's designs. So nature can be a real way to get inspired and get a natural high. Also, as Dr. Akhtar Hussain was rightly pointing out, music, dance, art, literature, these are some wonderful things, which all of us can indulge into without developing any problems. If I may say, these are positive addictions, which all of us can get into and have, lot of positive benefits out of it and without any harms. Also, especially during this period of pandemic, we are all craving for connection. We are not able to meet our friends. We are not able to meet our teachers. So it is always important that you find unique ways, take the help of technology to feel some sort of connection. Maybe it can be a group, video call. It can be a Zoom meeting with your family members, with your cousins, or with your batchmates. Some way by which you can feel meaningful connection. Because when you are lonely, when you feel isolated, it can really put you at risk to develop, all sort of addictions and, even behavioral addictions like excessive smartphone use or excessive watching of pornography or any other sort of obsession. So always find meaningful connection in your life. And another wonderful way to really feel high in your life, high which is not transient, which is not lasting for few hours, but which you will remember all your life, is by opening up your heart to others and involving yourself in some kind of service. Maybe your neighbor is suffering from COVID and he or she wants some help with cooking. If you can cook something and put it in front of his door, right? That can be something which can be a life-changing experience for the other person. And of course, you will get that kind of pleasure which you will carry all through your life. There may be other ways by which you can devote not only your money or materialistic things. You can devote your time, you can devote your knowledge, you can share your knowledge and time with people who are not as privileged as you. Or you can also think of giving support to people who are distressed during these periods of time. Such service to others, volunteering and without any expectations, trying to give selfless service to someone, it can really give you a sort of pleasure and a spiritual and meaningful uh, experience to your life, which you will carry all throughout your life. So I will urge all of you again, there are many forces in this world which will try to trap you into using drugs. And even if you experiment it once, there is a good likelihood that some of these drugs can really trap you into becoming more habitual users. And drug abuse always leads to problems. Even if it is just a social use of alcohol or cigarettes, it is going to hamper your physical health, it is going to hamper your mental health. So look at the gifts of life. Always think of what natural rewards you can seek. Always think of experiencing mastery, which can give you a natural high, and so that you can keep away from the dangers of substance use. With these few words, I would like to end my lecture. Thank you very much once again to all the students and members of Center for Substance Abuse Prevention for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir. If any queries, you can feel free to ask.
Dr. Ravichandra?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was really inspiring. And it's not a question, rather, I just want to share my experience, because I was just listening to your talk. I was just hearing that you said that a kind of video meet with friends can really keep you high. I just wanted to share my experience. Of late, I was finding my mother very much depressed. She is 75 plus. And she was really depressed because maybe we could not meet her, and she has not met her children for years together now because of COVID lockdown. So I didn't know that this has got some scientific background. But then we started with ours is a big family. We have 5 sisters. So we just thought of having a meeting, a kind of conference call in the evening. And, because my mother, she's an old lady, for her, and more entertainment will be some spiritual activity. So we started, doing some prayers together. So now it is almost 10-15 days, and I can see the change in her. And in fact, we are also, every day we wait for this. So now, I understand that this also has got a scientific basis, like you said, keeping us also, as well as my mother, keeping, a positively, oriented, happy. I just wanted to share my experience. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, ma'am. It's a very universal experience. Whatever your mother is going through, I'm sure, millions and millions of us, in some extent, are going through. And of course, a feeling of community and a feeling of connection can definitely get us out of these problematic behaviors. Many of our friends who get into these problems are actually seeking connection, are actually trying to heal themselves from problems from their older life, from their past life. So I think whatever points you made are very, very apt and relevant, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Doc. Nice talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. That was very enlightening. I now request Akshay Sharma to introduce our next speaker, Mrs. Claire D'Cunha, founder and managing trustee, Taloka.
A very good afternoon to one and all. I'm Akshay Sharma, second year BDA student, student body member of CFSAP, Yenepoya Dental College. Today, I'd like to cordially welcome Ms. Clara Dicunha. She has an MSW in Medical and Psychiatric Specialization, MPhil in Social Work from Hampi University, and International Certified Addiction Professional, ICAP 1, from Global Center for Credentialing and Certification. She has worked in Ling De-Addiction Center, Father Muller Medical College Hospital in the De-Addiction Unit. She also is the founder and managing trustee of Teloka Mangalore, a public charitable trust. We are indeed privileged to have a person of this status to grace us in this occasion. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Clara Dicunha to take the dais.
Ma'am, please unmute your mic.
Thank you for introducing me, and so thank you for reminding me to unmute my mic also. So we are connecting now through this internet and so online. Also, it's a good connection, I know. And thanks, Dr. Maji and the principal, Dr. Akhtar, and all the even Bharat, who called me for inviting me as a resource person for this program. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So I have this topic: give facts and save lives. Today's International Day Against Drug Abuse topic. Psychoactive substance abuse, it's now we call it substance use. So SUD, substance psychoactive substance use, continues to be a global problem, and millions of people suffer because of this. And prevention is only the way out, because like I want to start with an example of a boy, 20-year boy, who is admitted for his addiction. He lost his father when he was in 5th standard, and his mother, and he died. He was an alcoholic, and he committed suicide and died. And he had 2 children. They have 2 young children, and the mother tried to bring up the boy with all the difficulties, and till 10th the boy was doing very well. And after 10th he was put to this diploma course. In the diploma course, somebody gave him a cigarette to smoke. Then he was introduced to cannabis. From there, when he was introduced to alcohol, within no time he got addicted, and he was totally found in the street during this Corona time, because nobody wants him in the house, because he steals, he does these things, and nobody wants him. So finally he is here. Why I'm saying is the suffering of even Dr. Ravichandra Kulal Karpal was talking about it. The suffering is really overwhelming to the family and to the loved ones. And it's a fact also that very small part of the number of people who get into this addiction get treatment and get proper help. It is absolutely not possible sometimes to help. So what I'm trying to talk about is we all know there are drugs, legal drugs, illegal drugs, or illicit drugs, or these prescription drugs. What many times people think is legal drugs are very safe because they are legal, but most of the people come with the problem is of with legal drugs. Alcohol is one of the major problem of drug addiction. People think it's not a drug. It is also mind altering drug. So people get addicted to legal drugs, and legal drugs, maybe in India alcohol or now smoking is illegal, but in other countries it may be different. But and this illegal drugs definitely like with small one take, people can get addicted and get into trouble. And this prescription drugs, especially people take it, they get this prescription, then sometimes they overuse it. What happens is these all drugs affect the body's central nervous system, and it is a chronic brain disease. Addiction is a chronic brain disease. No, like. It's very difficult. Once a person gets addicted, it's not easy for a person to come out of this. But the especially the youth, what they think is, no, it won't happen to me. No, I'm strong. I'm very strong. I have a very strong willpower. I have knowledge. No, I have enough knowledge. How no, because I have my education and I know how to control. No, that's the thing. No, I don't go out of control. I don't become like that person, and I know where and how to use. No, and I don't need to be told. My money, or no, nobody need to tell me what I need to do. So later, what it happens is, no, like friends leave. Then the friends leave when they get into trouble. Then because of this trouble, they say, I'm now having these drugs because of the trouble. This addiction is a disease. It's a disease, and people really get, no, like when I was just writing down when doctor was talking about it. No, it really hijacks the reward pathway, and no, they once no, and the natural dopamine is stopped. No, they don't get the natural the happiness what they it's no naturally now in our system we get that natural happiness. We are not able to get, then we get trapped into that. So many people get addicted with this alcohol and also other drugs, and education or any of those things doesn't help a person to, once a person gets into trouble, doesn't help. And I just want to give few examples here, that we had a physician who is a physician. Okay, he has done his MD. He is helping hundreds of people to know with their problems, health issues at this. But when he got addicted, no, he couldn't take help. And also because when people are more educated, it becomes more difficult for them to ask for help, because how I know what it is. I know how to know, and it's a kind of also know how to ask for help. And he lost. He passed away. He has young 2 children. Who one girl is in PU and the boy is in 10th, and they have lost their father. And the mother is also a doctor, but they couldn't save that. No, being a physician, no, like it's a pity that no, it's not possible. And I also want to do 3 examples here. Another boy who went abroad, and was working there. After his education, he went abroad. There he started, though it's a Gulf country, it's not easy to get alcohol, but somehow he got into that. Then he was arrested, he was in the jail, and he was given temporary passport, and he was left in this city, from the airport. Somebody left him here, and he was roaming in the city, and he was found by somebody, and he was brought to the center. And no, father didn't want to accept him, because that boy has not brought any money. He has 9 years he was there abroad, nothing, and he just wanted to commit suicide. He don't want to live. And all this happens because of he was introduced to this habit. And he later he was given help. This priest who brought him, he kept him for 3-4 months with him and helped him to find a small job. Then he started his own small business. After that, now he got married. But it's not easy for every person to get that kind of support. And another example I want to give is one more boy who was a musician. Musician, they think, okay, if I can perform well, maybe if I take little more, I will be able to perform a little more extra. But that doesn't happen. Instead, he got addicted, and he's in and out. He can sometimes he say, he hallucinates. Nobody wants to talk to him. So though he's such a talented boy, he is not able to find himself, and having that's lots of trouble in this life. So with this drug use related problems, no, I just want to make few points there. Like, no, this physical and mental health problems, the organ damages because of the even alcohol, with other drugs also the organ damages happen, and the mental illnesses related to that. When we just talk about it, we can see cases with lots of organ damage, people, no, liver cirrhosis, and no, and so many other things, and poor healthcare, no, people who once they go into this addiction, or no, once who they start this any use, then no, they are not bothered about their health care. They give least importance for nutritious food. They don't want to eat something or no, dream something. They know, like that mind asking again and again for this substance. So, and also the safety risks, the accidents, the disability, and no things. I remember a boy who was in his 30s. No, he went for a party, night party, and he came back at 12 o'clock, and he was drunk. He didn't see there was a barricade, and no, he hit to that, and he was fell. His spinal cord was broken. No, he couldn't survive. He just, no, he had to, no, go through that, and the pain of the family is so much. And also the loss of inhibitions. When people use drugs, no, risk of sexually transmitted diseases, HIV, is hepatitis, and risk of suicides. No, risk of suicides is so much, because this alcohol especially is a depressant, and also the sleeping pills are depressant. So when a person, not that they have lots of problems, even though they have so many things in their life to be grateful for. When doctor is talking about it, we have so many gifts in our lives, maybe our family, our friends, but a person who is addicted cannot see that. So these people have this suicidal tendency. I think these people who come for treatment, 80% of them have no attempted or not thought of seriously thought of committing suicide. So such a risk of suicide and immature death. So poor work performance is another thing, and above all that is the unaccomplished dreams. No, people, every human being have their dreams, and they want to do well in life, and no, the small dreams. When we are hearing that, so a person will not be able to go with the dreams, and the misery and the guilt, because I want to do something, I'm not able to achieve, and I feel that guilt and remorse. So, and the strained relationships, and we can add to this list of the and of the problems of drug abuse. And I want to stress on another small aspect is women and addiction. Women also go into, now the scenario is changing, and women also get into addiction, and they get into addiction more faster than men, because of their physical structure and the less water content in their body, and the seeking help becomes very difficult because of the stigma attached to the disease. So it's not easy for women. So I just want to stress on that, women. So is there a hope? No, when I read this invitation, when I saw that, I felt so happy, because we speak about the problem, and we don't give a solution, there is no point just speaking about the don't use, because maybe the happiness is exaggerated, or but everybody thinks I want to be happy. Everybody want to enjoy life, and I don't think any of the parents or teachers or the person himself doesn't want to enjoy life, but many times the happiness is seen in a different way. So but the drugs don't help in, it's not that my opinion, it is a scientific fact that drugs don't help a person. We don't see anyone who use drugs and been successful in life. So I don't see a person, but then many times I'm asked this question, then why they sell? There are so many shops, and why it is, and we all know the answer why it is sold. We all know the answer. I don't need to talk about the answer. But today's today's topic, give facts and save lives, is evidence based prevention. As doctor was saying, I was making few notes. It's so beautiful that the self love, the self compassion, no small steps to experience mastery, doing small things. And I remember one time I went to one yoga institute. I was taking my daughter there for music class, and I saw a list of names who are coming for yoga there. And I saw most of them are doctors, because they know how they get this dopamine. They go for a walk, go into the nature, look into something beautiful, talk to a loving person. So those things only help to get happiness, not drugs. And we have lots of misinformation because of the peer pressure, or the technologies are more supportive to the misinformation. So I think this program will help all of us to look into the positive side of life. And especially the pandemic time is not easy. We are not able to go out. We cannot enjoy life. And also though so everything is closed, and morning itself all liquor stores are open, and only sometimes at least evenings people used to go. But now the early morning 6 o'clock people line up. It's not easy to see, but that's the fact of life. So, and with this I think I end my sharing on the topic. And thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for everyone for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dikona. Any queries, please feel free to ask.
Clara ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Maji, I have a question. Madam, you've been working with these addicted people for quite some time. And what do you say, what percentage of people are able to come out of it? Because maybe, with that we can stress to the fact that it is better to say not to start. Better not to start, because many a times students also think that let me enjoy my life now, and later on, once I take up responsibilities of my life, I will stop. So do you say that could be a right choice, or in your experience, how much, roughly a percentage of people who have started this habit, once addicted, were able to come out of it?
Okay, very small percentage of people able to recover, because it's a relapse prone disease, we say. It is a brain disease. SUD, substance use disorder, is a brain disease. And also the person, not only that person gets affected, the whole family, and he is getting, or she is getting affected in all areas of life. Job, or personal relationship, and no money. So very tough to get back into. It's absolutely best not to start, definitely. Yes.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So that is actually very important to the youngsters. Yeah, because it may not be very easy to come out of it. So better find alternative ways to keep themselves happy. And like ma'am said, that divert yourself to other things that can give them happiness. I think Justina, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box also. Any other questions? Anybody would like to, interact with ma'am because she has the a great experience working with addicted people.
Yes, ma'am. Can ma'am share an experience where she could successfully help a person, him or her, out of this addiction? A positive experience ma'am had had.
Oh, yes, yes. I have lots of positive experiences also where a person, no, several people I know because I'm in this field for many years now. So there are lots of people who are, no, who have come into the treatment and successfully, but it is not easy. That's what I'm saying. No, it's not worth it to, no, knowingly getting into that. But no, as I was explaining 2-3 examples in that one person, no, I was saying, no, like he came back, he was suicidal, he came and no took treatment, then he got a small job, no, but no, everything becomes very late. No, I know a boy now who is admitted, not boy, a man of 40. No, all his youth he spent in his addiction. Now thing is, no, now he's not getting a girl, nobody wants to marry him, his oral health is too bad, his physical health is bad, so it's not worth. But people recover. It's not that there is no hope. There is hope. No, there is hope. There is no, we just can't say there is no hope, but it's not worth getting into that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Maybe, ma'am, I would like to add, it is always better not to start, but by
Yes.
chance, if somebody has fallen into the trap, better to take understand that they are in a trap and then try for help and then take help and come out
Yes.
at the earliest, because the more deep-seated the problem is, it is going to be the coming out or the complete recovery is going to be very, very difficult.
Yes.
Isn't it, ma'am?
Yes, yes, very true.
Any other
Hello,
queries?
Mrs. Tripula.
Yes.
Can you just elaborate the role of peer to help an individual who is addicted, role of a peer or friends to help him to come out from the problem?
Okay, okay. Role of the friends you're saying, peer pressure, peers to help him. Yeah, because no, see, thing is, no, before we had these extended families, and we used to get that connection with grandfather, grandmother, all these things. Nowadays, it is like no, we are no staying in a very small family, father, mother, and children. Both the parents go to work, and most of the time, what happens is no more influence from the peers, and definitely they won't be having right knowledge. So it is better that no, they will be given the right information at the right time, maybe before they go to PU, so that no, they are not influenced. No, like otherwise, to take treatment, also if the person is having issues at the early that teenage time, peers. I don't know. It's very, very difficult because no, that age they don't understand the severity of the problem. No, because it's a progressive. It's very, very progressive disease. So they don't understand the severity. What's it? Like because I'm into this field. No, it's so severe. To see these hallucinations, to see these fits, to see the trauma they go through is so horrible. So it's not easy to peers, but also teachers, and I think the parents play a major role to also give them the right information. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the questions.
Ma'am, we do have a question by Devanshi. How do we give moral support to people who are going through addictions?
How to give moral support? Okay, that's a very nice question. See, one thing is, as I said, it's a brain disease. It's a disease. So a person has cancer. We don't say that, no, oh my God, such a bad man, he has cancer. So looking at the person that he has a disease and taking care of that person that way, like that kind of support, because that person has to definitely go through that. If once he is addicted, he has to go through, but family support and other kind of, even the stigma attached to the disease is so strong, especially for women to come to for treatment, or even for the men and all, especially for the educated population to come for treatment is absolutely very difficult. So knowing it's a disease and it can happen to anybody, even if they have knowledge, is a kind of support. We really can give support that way. Yeah, thank you. I think I answered your question.
Ma'am, another question by Umar. How to
Yeah.
convince a person of our known who are already into this addiction?
I didn't get the question.
Ma'am, I think he meant that how do you convince a person that you personally know that is already into this addiction?
Okay. Another good question. Actually, it's very difficult because the brain structure, when Dr. Ravichandra was saying, the structural changes take place, and the person is feeling happiness only through the drug. So he doesn't see, he needs lots of time to come into treatment. It's very difficult. The denial is very strong, but. That's why for this, especially for this addiction, there is a in-house treatment. They have to stay for 3 months, 6 months. Sometimes person need a year. So it's not easy to convince a person. It's very difficult. That's why I'm saying it's the best not to try these things. If a person, maybe there are lots of people who are into that, and it feels so sad to see the suffering. Very difficult to convince. Very difficult, especially the youth. Yes, the denial is so strong. But the close people, maybe the teacher or the counselor or the psychiatrist, especially when a doctor tells a person, they are many times they will listen to that, and without non-judgmentally, if we look into them, I'm standing above and talking to him like a person who is a failure, it doesn't help. If I can look into that person like a equal, then maybe it will help. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question by Suhema. How do we, as college representatives, do something about it? Because there are many under us that are secretly involved with such activities. They won't come out seeking help, nor will confess because of the hype around the addiction. It is considered cool.
Yes, it is considered cool. That's the misinformation we have, and why that misinformation is spread. We know, all we know why that misinformation is spread, and sometimes it's very difficult to bring them to treatment. I know, especially the youth, and especially with narcotics and all, if they're using, it's very difficult. One second. I just want to.
Yeah. Justina?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, ma'am has come back. Yes.
Sorry about it, because my battery went down.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yes.
So any other question?
Yes, ma'am. The question was, how do college representatives do something about it?
I didn't get the question.
Yeah, maybe, madam, I can answer that question.
No, you asked me the question again?
Yeah, no, the question is how the college representatives do something about it. Maybe I can give that answer.
Okay.
Shall I? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in order to help the students and also to identify the students who are into these kind of problems, we have established the Center for Substance Abuse Prevention in Yenepoya University. And recently we have started satellite units in every constituent college, and every batch has got a faculty batch coordinator and also student representative. So our main objective is early, first of all, prevention by giving awareness. So this is one of that activity, creating awareness among the students about ill effects of these, substances of abuse. So one objective is prevention. Another one is early identification, early detection and providing help. So, as a part of early detection, I know the mentors and the teachers have been informed to, if they observe any student who is actually showing absenteeism from the classes or a change in behavior or any kind of suddenly dip in the academic performance, so note down. So that is why we have got a very strong mentorship program. And also, even as classmates, anybody, any student observes somebody is actually looking at change in behavior, change in attitude or anything, so please bring it to the notice of your batch coordinator. So then, we can talk to them and, so maybe students themselves may not be able to handle it, but as experienced teachers or mentors or even with the student counselors, will be able to identify the problem and then, send them, direct them for counseling or whatever, depending upon the addiction or depending upon the problem, we will be able to help. I'm very happy that Suhaima has, brought this question up. So with all your cooperation, because I just really understand your concern about your batch of students. So anytime any of the students come across, your colleague, your batchmate is having a problem, so please let us know. And then I'm promising you that all the information will be kept very confidential. And our objective is helping the person to be out of the problem, not identifying them and then threatening them, punishing them. No, that is not the objective. So the objective of Center for Substance Abuse Prevention is the prevention, early detection and extending help to the students. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, I just want to add to that a small thing. Also focus on positive aspects of life. What Dr. Ravichandra was saying, it's so important that we start loving the nature. We start being good to ourselves. Respecting our emotions. All emotions are good. No emotion is bad. So all the time we can't be happy. So that many times that works. Instead of focusing more on the problem, on the solution, focus on the solution also helps. So I wanted to add to that. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, a question by Suhail. How do you modify the environment for someone who came out of addiction?
I didn't get the question again, sorry.
How do you modify the environment for someone who just came out of addiction?
Because there is disturbance. How do you
modify the environment for someone who came out of addiction?
Okay. That's another question which I can just look into my experience in the work, because a person comes and stays with us for 3 months. So we call the members of the family. We tell them, no, they think that he's irresponsible, he doesn't love us, he's this, he's not giving us enough finance, he doesn't know, all those things, complaints. So we try to explain to the family that he has a disease and he is suffering from a disease, and also to not to talk about the past, and also to throw anything such things at home, keep no positive environment, and also to take support of other support systems available, self-help groups or such things. So that kind of support will help a person, because when he is looked down on that, because he's trying to come out of it, and if he's all the time ridiculed because he had the problem, then it doesn't help. The more understanding and the more knowledge of the disease really helps a person. Thank you.
Ma'am, can I add one more point to this?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe physically improving the environment by keeping the area free of the substances which he or she was addicted to. That is also very important. See, suppose a person is trying to come out of alcohol. So if you keep alcohol in the house or wherever, they are actually, moving around, it will be a temptation. Same thing with cigarette. cigarette or
Yes.
any kind of, so physically the environment has to be kept clean. So in an attempt to this, as Akhtar sir mentioned, that like most probably Yenepoya University will be getting a sniffer dog, so that we want to keep our campus totally free of any substances. Hope that will work well.
Yes.
Because the availability of these things actually tempt many people to relapse into their habit. So reducing the availability, keeping the environment physically clean. So that is very, very important. In addition to providing support and all other psychological, like a support and all those things, providing a clean environment surroundings is also very important.
Yes. Thank you. So, any other questions? I have time. If you have time.
Yeah, like I'm happy that many students are also coming up with questions, because this is
Yes,
the kind of interaction we wanted, because that's why we
Yes.
wanted somebody who had worked with
Yes.
these issues, because theoretical knowledge is different from practical experience working with people. So anyway, I'm happy that some very good questions came up, and then
Yes.
students could get some enlightenment.
So no questions then.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
to
Justina, yeah.
you. I
you
just
close.
want to say a word. No, I thank everyone for asking the question and being there and giving me this chance to come and share, talk. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Justina, you can continue. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So I now request Dr. Saeed Mikdad, Faculty Coordinator, Satellite Unit YDC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Satellite Unit of Yenepoya Dental College, Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, Yenepoya deemed to be university, thank principal and vice principals of all the constituent college. I thank our guest speakers of the day, Dr. Ravichandra sir and Mrs. Clara madam. I thank all the college coordinators, batch coordinators of Satellite Unit, and other members of Center for Substance Abuse Prevention. I thank all the participants for your presence and support throughout the webinar. Thank you, one and all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. With this, we are coming to the end of the program. Our satellite unit has conducted many such programs and will continue to do so to create awareness and keep our university substance-free. A link will be soon sent into the chat box. Please give your feedback. And I would also like to thank everyone that has participated in this program and for their patient listening. Stay safe.